From here on out, this is the only recipe I'm going to use to make roasted turkey. It is so flavorful thanks to an easy brine, and really juicy thanks to the most delicious garlic and herb butter, which we use so much of, and it's so worth it. We also show you how to make a gravy from scratch using the pan drippings. This one, this is gonna wow you, wow your guests, wow your family. You've gotta try it.
We don't roast turkey very often, but when we do, we go all in and use homemade turkey butter made with lots of butter, garlic, and herbs. It adds incredible flavor, color, and moisture. Most of the year, you're not gonna see me stuff this much butter into anything, but I make an exception for turkey, especially Thanksgiving turkey. I've got 1 pound of butter and I'm adding a teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce, 1/2 cup parsley leaves, 1/4 cup sage leaves, 2 tablespoons of thyme leaves, 3 cloves of garlic, the zest and juice of 1 lemon, salt, and fresh ground black pepper.
If there's one thing to take from this recipe, make it this herb butter. It's insanely good.
By the way, you can use salted or unsalted butter. Just adjust the amount of salt that you add. We've included tips in the recipe on Inspired Taste. Pulse everything together until smooth. You'll probably need to open and scrape down the sides of the processor bowl to help things move around. When it's nice and smooth, you're done. For flavor, moisture, and the beginnings of a delicious gravy, we roast our turkey on top of a bed of veggies and broth. Slice an onion into wedges. We don't eat this later on, so I'm not worrying about peeling it. Chop 2 carrots. I've scrubbed them but haven't bothered to peel them. We also need 2 stalks of celery, and finally 5 smashed garlic cloves. You can see that I'm roughly chopping everything. They don't need to be perfect. Now grab your turkey. I've already brined and air dried mine. We highly recommend both and have added our method for brining turkey at the end of this video. Toss the veggies into the bottom of your roasting pan, and then add even more delicious flavor with fresh thyme and sage. Here's 8 cups of stock, which will eventually be the base of our delicious gravy. Now set your roasting rack into the pan. Okay, back to that amazing butter. Place about 1/4 of the butter into a small saucepan and melt over low heat. Now here's where things get a little messy. I promise it's worth it. You can use food-safe gloves if you have them. Use your hands to make a pocket between the breast meat and skin. Then grab some of the butter and push it into the pocket. Massage the butter back over the breast so that there is a layer of herb butter over the entire breast. Do the same with the dark meat. Make a small hole around the thighs and push more butter under the skin. As I said, this is the messy part, but I promise it's this butter that makes our turkey so incredibly delicious. Now is a good time to truss our turkey. This helps keep it tidy and helps a bit with even roasting. It's simple. Take a long piece of twine and tuck it underneath the neck end. Bring the twine up and around the wings, pushing them towards the breast. Cross the twine at the cavity, forming an X, and then tie the ends of the drumsticks together. Cut excess twine and you're ready to roast. Now I'm back with more butter. This time it's melted. Stick with me here. Flip the turkey so that it is breast side down. Brush the butter all over. Now flip it back, breast facing up, and brush melted butter over the skin. Get in the nooks and crannies, really go for it. We roast turkey in an oven preheated to 325 degrees Fahrenheit. Approximate turkey cooking time is 14 minutes per pound. My turkey is 15 pounds, so I'm looking at close to 3.5 hours. While the turkey roasts, I rotate the pan a few times to promote even browning, and I baste. Basting fat over the turkey skin keeps it moist and flavorful, so use a turkey baster to collect the fat sitting on top of the broth in the pan. It's this that you want to drizzle over the turkey. While your turkey roasts, you can get a jump start on the turkey gravy. We'll use pan drippings later on, but we can get the base started now. Finely chop an onion and then add it to 4 cups of stock in a medium saucepan. Toss in fresh thyme and a bay leaf and bring to a simmer. Add the neck and any offal that came with your turkey too. Now simmer covered for 1 hour. After an hour, remove everything but the onion and set aside. Our turkey is done. It needs to rest for at least 30 minutes. So let's finish up our turkey gravy. Discard the veggies at the bottom of the roasting pan. They've given their love. Now we need to separate the broth from the fat. This fat separator is really helpful. You pour it into the jug and then are able to drain the broth from the bottom. We need 3 to 4 cups of broth as well as a half cup of fat for our gravy. Pour the fat into a skillet. This will be for our roux, which thickens the gravy. When it's hot, whisk in 10 tablespoons of flour. Keep the roux over low heat, whisking every once in a while so that the flour graininess cooks out. Here's the broth I saved from roasting the turkey. I'm adding it to the onion stock we made earlier. For some extra creaminess, I'm also adding a 1/4 cup of cream. You can use more or less depending on your preference. Now bring that to a simmer and then whisk in the roux. As it simmers, the gravy will thicken nicely. It's been over half an hour and I am so ready to cut into my turkey. It looks so good. That butter really helped us get a beautiful brown color, and as I cut, you'll see that there's plenty of delicious garlic butter underneath the skin. Carve your turkey however you like, but for me, I like keeping slices thick. See how there's still the garlic and herbs under the skin? You are going to love this turkey. And this is a little awkward, but we needed to show you how tender and juicy the inside of the turkey is. That's all thanks to our brine and butter. Remember, I'm going to show you the brine we used in just a moment. And that gravy, whoa, is it good. It took on lots of flavor from the veggies, herbs, and the butter used with the turkey. Our roux thickens it just enough and the onions add a little sweet flavor. You can chop up the meat from the turkey neck and offal and then add it to the gravy, by the way. Meat from the wings can go in there too. It's totally up to you. Well, that was a turkey whirlwind. I hope we've helped you feel more confident roasting a turkey at home. We know you can do it, and honestly, anything cooked with that butter is going to be amazing. Before we go, let's quickly walk through brining a turkey. We're putting this at the end because honestly, we didn't want to scare you off. Don't think of brining as a way to keep your turkey moist and juicy. Instead, brining is for flavor and texture. Brine turkey is more flavorful and tender. I've quartered an onion and cut 2 garlic bulbs in half. We'll use that plus a bunch of fresh thyme and 5 bay leaves. Now measure out a 1/4 cup of Worcestershire sauce or pick a pepper sauce, which is similar and delicious in the brine. We also need 3/4 cup of packed brown sugar and 4.5 ounces of kosher salt. Depending on the salt you use, the volume measurements or cups measurement will be different, so check the notes section of our recipe for our tips. Now combine everything along with 1 tablespoon of black pepper in a pot with 2 quarts of water and then simmer for 10 minutes. Allow the brine to cool and then add it to your turkey. I'm using a heavy-duty brine bag, but a 5-gallon lined bucket will also work. Whichever you use, just make sure that it will fit in your fridge or a cooler with ice. Add more water to the brine. You will need 6 more quarts. Then seal the bag very well. I use twine to add an extra layer of protection, but that's optional. Now for the fridge, I keep my bag in a roasting pan, but when I need to brine using a cooler, I just plop it right into the cooler with ice. We have lots of tips for brining safely in our recipe on Inspired Taste. If your turkey is not completely submerged, it's okay, just flip it in the brine halfway through brining. We brine our turkey for 2 days, then take it out of the brine, no rinsing needed, and air dry the turkey overnight before roasting. For a detailed timeline, check the recipe on Inspired Taste. See you next time.